Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Thursday. I'm Marla Goldberg, your host, and I'm here with the incomparable Pat Longo, who's our guest today. If you don't know about Pat, you've got to know. We've got to inform you. She is an international energy healer and author who has been teaching spiritual awareness classes for the past 20 years. Pat has been featured on TLC's Long Island Medium as an accomplished mentor and guide to the talented psychic medium, Teresa Caputo. Blessed with the extraordinary gift of healing, Pat has the capability to channel universal energies through her hands. Her book, The Gifts Beneath Your Anxiety, serves as a helpful teaching tool to all clients. Committed to healing others, Pat uses this phenomenal gift to restore, correct, and transform energetic imbalances in her clients' energy field. She has miraculously healed countless men, women, children from disease, addiction, anxiety disorders, depression, and emotional trauma. Pat has channeled long-distance healings as far as Australia, England, Japan, and all over the United States. Her regression work is dedicated to helping remove and heal the pain and traumas that have been carried over from the past. Her lectures and classes are designed to teach others the techniques to heal their own lives and bodies, allowing them to develop their own natural abilities of mediumship, healing, and divine guidance. Welcome, Pat.
Hello there, Marla. Thank you for having me back. I'm very excited. It's been a while.
It has been a minute, and I'm so happy that you're here with us. We've got some hellos from Cindy, and
we got a whole bunch going on there.
We do. Pat from Slovenia. Hello, Pat from Slovenia. Welcome.
Hello.
So our conversation is healing and manifesting your destiny. So I was reading about, your the paperwork you sent me, and we were talking in it. You were talking about forgiveness, which I talk about a lot. Mm-hmm. Why don't you explain from your perspective why forgiveness of others and yourself is so important in the whole energy healing process?
Okay. Well, listen, forgiveness is for us. It's not for the people who hurt us. And when people hold on to the past and they keep going down the rabbit hole of the past, it just takes their power away. And they're handing their power over to the people who hurt them. There's no point to it. Loving and forgiving oneself and others is part of what we're here for on this planet. It's why we're here, to learn humility and integrity and love and honor, again, of self and others, to not judge other people. There's so much involved with it. And we get sick if we carry the pain from the past.
We do, and I want to get onto that. But here's a question about forgiveness. Do you need, because I'm having a debate with someone about this, because I personally believe you don't have to have somebody in front of you who's done something to you or who you've done to forgive or be forgiven. That they're debating me saying, no, you have to be face center.
No, not at all. I agree with you completely. I see clients every day, one right after the next, and we go through this. And listen, I'll tell you a story. It's not one that I expected to tell, but it just popped in. So when it pops in, I tell it. This is about me, and this is about me in ninth grade. In ninth grade, I was a bully. I had gone from a Catholic school of 8 years and then moved into a public school, and I was kind of the lost whatever. I'm little tiny, 4'11", and I kind of tried to fit in with whoever, and the crowd that I picked was not the right one at that time, for that brief time. And I found myself following their lead and bullying people. So now, when I got married, which was very young, right out of high school, I changed. I had children. I changed. Everything about me changed as far as becoming a parent. But when I became very spiritual, and this door opened and I recognized all of these amazing things. I realized that I couldn't go back and find whoever it was that I had hurt. And my students tend to put me on a pedestal. I said, don't put me on a pedestal, because I'll fall down and break into a million pieces. I'm just like everybody else. I'm human and I made mistakes, but I can't go back. Maybe I hurt that person's self-esteem for the rest of their life. This is possible. This is what I deal with as a healer. So what I did was I forgave myself by changing the person I was. And I just made myself that much more compassionate and kind and caring for other human beings. So that's how I did it. And for me personally, and I teach others, you can write it down on a piece of paper, put down how you feel, but then say thank you. Thank you. And release them, bless them and release them, because the people who hurt us are our teachers. They teach us either what to do or what never to do. And so if we look at it that way, it leaves immediately. There's no reason to go back.
I love that because
Yeah.
I agree with that so wholeheartedly. And you could burn, you could put your forgiveness in a paper, burn it,
Mm-hmm.
and, give your, chant whatever you want to chant about forgiveness as it's turning to ash and
Yep.
going
Well,
back to where it originated from.
it's how I give it on my homework. I tell them you can burn it, shred it up, or tear it into little pieces. Just be careful of your environment, because I've had a few people burn it and the fire department came. So I need people to be a little more conscious of where they're burning. If they have a fireplace, if they have a fire pit, don't just light a match to it and hope for the best, because you could get in trouble. But I recommend the same thing. Burn it, tear it up, shred it, get rid of it, but put it down, and put down what you have not expressed, what you've held inside for so long. Maybe, again, things you didn't get closure with, just get it all out. But another piece that I put in, Marla, and you probably say the same thing, I also tell people to take responsibility. After you say, this is how you made me feel when, you then would say, this is how I allowed myself to feel. Take responsibility for how you react to somebody else's bad behavior. Unless you're a minor and you've been abused, it's not on you, it's on the adults, but it's still on you to not become a victim.
And
Okay?
and I agree 100% with that. And the addition to that is, if you're of adult age, 18 or older, you can't
Yep.
keep, you need to stop blaming other people for your choices because of how you were raised. You need to take responsibility for that. And there's choice in how you treat people and what you do to them.
Well, it's so interesting because I don't know as much about you. I do a little reading too, and you're talking my talk, because those are the words that I use. I say 18 years old. Uh, by 13, you've been in other people's homes. You know that other families treat people differently, and you have authority figures, and there's other ways to look at things. But by 18, and you're using my exact words, so that makes me feel real good.
Well, I heard them coming from your mind. So telepathically, I got those messages.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's talk about the disbelievers who don't believe that negative thoughts, negative emotions are paramount in creating illness, disease. How do you change that belief system?
Well, I feel I give people tools. I give them homework at the end of a session, and the tools, um, they're about canceling out the negative thoughts. Um, I just say cancel, cancel. I cancel myself here and there. Uh, Somebody just put keeping your vibrations high. Absolutely. Sarah's
Yes.
one of my students, and I give them a list of vibrations. I'll tell them love raises your vibration, laughter, music that you love,
Dancing.
meditation, prayer, dancing,
See?
even walking in the woods, or if you love to put your hands in the earth and garden. I mean, it's got to be something you love, and that raises your vibration. Gratitude raises your vibration.
Yes.
I give tools that are, I tell people, when you're in the emotional basement, I want you on the ceiling. And so I ask them to give me one thing that brings joy to their heart or a smile to their face. It could be any person, place, or thing throughout their entire lifetime. And it's, most people are able to do that, whether it's something a small child says or does, the unconditional love of a pet, a funny movie, favorite vacation, something you've accomplished you're proud of. But I come across a lot of people that cannot find that happy moment. And it's that much more of a struggle. So I have to really dig to find something way back. I might say, well, what about the day you were married or the day you had a child? Well, I had a horrible labor, or I lost that child, or I'm divorced now. So there's things you can't go to because people are in really dark places. So I've got to
Yes.
find something to help them move to that ceiling. And so those are like 3 in a row of the tools that I give. Um, and to help them really understand you can change your thoughts. It can change in a millisecond. The switch, like I was talking to somebody the other day and I asked that same question, and she thought about it for a minute, and then I mentioned the unconditional love of a pet, and she lit up like a Christmas tree. And I said, that's what I'm looking for. You need something that brings that feeling of joy to your heart so that you can quickly switch the thought. So she might have been in darkness 1 second ago, but by changing it to that, she flipped right out of it. So the idea is to try and stay there and try to
Right.
keep that vibe. Look, we live in the real world. Everybody's just has come out of this, COVID life. I believe we're on our way well out. And people have had a lot of upsets and setbacks, just financially, having to be in the house, not being out, wearing the mask. I mean, there's so much discomfort and disheartening feelings out there in the universe. And listen, we're talking about manifesting, and I want people to understand that all the news and all the fear that was broadcast just made it bigger,
Right.
because the more you fear something, the faster it comes to you. So if you think about it, whatever you're thinking the most about is what you're attracting into your life. And that's what we were all doing.
Well, where emotion flows and energy goes. So
Yep. Yep. I love that one
it,
too. And it's the
it,
truth.
yeah,
I
and just bringing
listen,
that.
I can bring it down to a simple level and just tell some simple stories of manifestation that, don't have anything to, and just to help people understand how, when you think of something, you're actually creating it. Because thoughts become things, and
Yes.
whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they're always going to become things. So I'm gonna tell you a story, and it has to do with a car,
Okay.
and it goes back to 1998. I had kind of inherited my son's English Mastiff, very very big dog,
Yes.
170 pounds she was, and I had to get a new car. I had at the time helped my husband to manifest this Jaguar. It was like almost like a Jaguar limousine, and I thought he was crazy. I said, we can't afford that. And I I knew how much he wanted it, and he kept passing it at the car dealership. And so we went and we looked, and we're sitting there and filling out papers, and then they say, oh, it's going to be $100 more. The price changed a month, and I'm like, he got up, we walked out, and then it disappeared off the lot. So he assumed naturally that it was purchased. So, he told me, and I said, listen, if you want something that much, you have a Jaguar book, look through the book, start seeing yourself behind the wheel of the car, look through the pictures, blah, 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 blah. So, in the meantime, I started writing a manifest, because your thoughts become things, your words make them more powerful. And when you write them down, they're cement. So I started to put it down, and for the certain price and a certain time and color and everything like that. So a couple of weeks later, we get a phone call. I get a phone call. I'm home, and it's the dealership, and they said, the price had gone back down, and turns out that someone had purchased it, but their credit didn't pan out. So they were offering it to us again for the lease. So we got it. Now 2 years down the road, after my husband loves this car. Now, who drives it? Me. He's in the truck every day. I'm driving the car. It's like an airplane. I love it. Okay, I love it. 2 years, it's gone. Now we have this big English Mastiff, and the vehicle is ready to be picked up on the 21st of December. You have to know the dates to understand the story. So I haven't found a car yet. I found a Dodge Durango, 1998 Dodge Durango. So it was more like 1997 that this happened. And I went to pick up the car. I wanted it in chili pepper red. And I'm jumping. Hold it. I got to back up, people. I went and I purchased a car. They did not have chili pepper red. I accepted black. When my husband and I went to pick up the truck, it was missing the back seat. And the guy was shocked. He made a mistake. And I don't get mad at people. So I said, listen, I don't want the black car. The whole purpose of the vehicle is my family travels together and I need the back seat. Okay, I'll try to find it. Could you try to find it in chili pepper red? He said, we only just got 10 cars each dealership and we only get one red and it seems to be the popular color. I don't know what the odds are. I said, do the best you can. I never heard from him again. 3 weeks go by. I look at 2 other dealerships. Nobody's got the red vehicle. Everybody told me the same story. Somebody's got a deposit. Somebody's got a deposit. And I said, I don't want a vehicle at somebody else's expense. You know,
Right.
I'll wait. I'll be patient. I know it's going to show up. So here we are, December 15th, my birthday. I get a phone call. I'm in work and I get a phone call from the original dealer. And this was before Thanksgiving that I last spoke to him. And he said to me, Mrs. Longo, you can come pick up your car. What do you mean pick up my car? I haven't even talked to you. For all you know, I have 10 cars by now. And I had been thinking about it in my head. And I noticed every time I put my mascara on, in my head was running, but I want chili pepper red. But I want chili pepper red. It was like an unconscious thing, but it was there. And I said, I don't understand. And he said, well, the person who purchased the vehicle just came in and he had a problem with something and he walked away. And I asked my boss, could I offer it to Mrs. Longo? And he said, yes. And so okay. So I go home, I call my daughter, I get the insurance. I said, all right, Trish, we have to go pick up the car. I need you to take me there. And as we're getting ready to leave, my mail, one piece of mail slipped off the table and landed on my foot. My daughter said, well, you know what that means, Mom. You got to look at it. Everything happens for a reason. So it happened to be a coupon book that you get in the mailbox periodically. Mm-hmm. Most people throw it in the garbage. I opened it up. I started to go through the pages and what do I find? But this car dealership, Old Country Dodge, had a year free of service, oil change, all this kind of stuff, free if presented at time of purchase. So I picked it up. I took it in. Not only did I get the vehicle of my choice, but I also got all the extras that the other man put on, which was the larger tires, the bigger mirrors, the pinstriping, and a year free of service. All because in my head, that's what I chose. And I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And the right one came to me. It was a little shaky because I thought to myself, I don't have a car and my car's leaving in 1 week. So, but it worked out.
And it showed up.
It's a simple story of the way your thoughts become things. It's not life-changing. It's just an example. I just manifested a house exactly the same way. And I got everything that I wanted. Somebody's writing over here, owning a specific kind of a car. We're going to have to talk about that, Antoinette.
Okay.
But I wanted a bedroom on the main floor. It's in the area that I live in. That's kind of a hard thing to do. They always have the suites upstairs. I wanted it on the main floor. I'm 72. I don't really feel like doing stairs the rest of my life. And it's going to be my last place. And I wanted the laundry on the first floor. I was desired a saltwater swimming pool. I needed a room big enough for all my family, all my children, which you can see over my shoulder, and just my kids.
You have a big family.
Okay, this is just my crew is behind me, and I I need space for them. So I desired a basement for the kids to go and play. And I got every single thing. I even wanted a certain landscaping. And the landscaping that I desired, it's winter, it was hard to see it all, but I know what it looks like. And there was everything that I asked for. So I'm practiced at it because I've been doing it so long. But all anybody's got to do is really focus on your desires and keep the negative part out of it. Keep your vibration up. Um, I gave you a list of things to keep your vibration up. Even gratitude. Be grateful.
Oh,
Be
yes.
grateful. If you think fear, what does the universe do? They bring it right to your doorstep. If you
And
put
more.
gratitude, yeah, yes, they just keep supplying you with more. If you put gratitude out, and again, what can you be grateful for? The sun, the moon, the stars, the grass, the trees, the flowers, the roof over your head, the car you drive, your friends, your family, a parking space. Okay?
Absolutely. I mean, you
Use your
can even go
gratitude.
as small as a toothbrush and toothpaste and
Uh,
soap to wash your body with.
A
I mean,
hundred
those are very small
percent.
things we take for granted.
You better believe we take it for granted. With everything that's gone on in the last couple of years, everybody really needs to sit back and take a look at that and what you can be grateful for. I sit down with the kids at Thanksgiving time and the grandkids, and I always remind them, and they really are very privileged in the families that they're in, and the friends and the life and the homes and everything.
And the
But I have to
love.
remind them, the love especially, of how important it was when we were sitting at a table at Thanksgiving during 2020, and how many people could not be doing that today.
Yes.
And they were alone in their homes and couldn't be with family. And I try to impress it upon them every year to be grateful for all the things that they have. And listen, some people don't have it so good. Some people live in abusive homes, and I was very concerned about that during COVID, about the people that were being forced to stay in a space with people that were not as kind as my situation. And
Yes.
I just put more prayers out, and prayer's a good way to raise your vibration too.
Oh my God. Yeah, my prayers take 30 minutes. I mean, and I mean, you just do that. But here's a question for people out there who don't know where to start with changing their habits, changing their thoughts. Do you have, changing thoughts, changing habits 101 suggestions for the listeners?
Well, again, that flipping the switch, okay, by again changing the thought. All right, I use cancel. I said that. So, example, um, my husband. Now, my husband's passed. It's almost 10 years. 10 years in August. And when he was well, he would come into the house every day on a Wednesday. That was the end of his week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He worked, and so did I. So he'd come in 4:30. He'd put his hand on the coat closet door, and he'd kick off each shoe, and he'd look at me and smile, and he'd say, "Thank God it's Friday." Now, of course, it wasn't Friday, and I knew that, and he knew that, but we laughed. So when he was very ill and had been moved into hospice, and things were really bad at that very late times, he was in a hospice bed 6 feet away from that closet door, maybe less. All right. And I watched his demise. So I have a choice. This is free will choice. It's the biggest gift God gave us. I have a choice. I can look at that situation and go down that rabbit hole and relive it. Okay. We can all relive it, just like we talked about before about forgiveness and people going back into the past. Or I can move to the closet door and see that. And that's what I choose to do. This is a free will choice for everybody. You can,
Yes.
I also, after he passed, I could have stayed in a fetal position and just cried all the time. My free will choice was to get up, continue doing what I was doing, and then also step forward with with my children and my grandchildren and celebrate my husband instead of mourn. And this is what we do. Okay, this is what we do. I told stories about Papa. The kids and I laugh. And my granddaughter was in college, and like 2 years ago, she called me up and said, you'll never guess what I'm watching on television, Grandma. And I said, what? And she said, Mary Poppins. And my husband would come home. I would watch them on that quite a bit when they were young. And they watched a movie over and over and over and over and over again. And my husband would come home and they would know he was coming. And they get all excited because they knew he was going to come in the door, because he always threw his hands on his head and said, oh, no, not Mary Poppins again. And they would giggle and laugh. So here she was all these years later. And that memory is still there because we keep it alive by celebration and laughter. And again, there's so many tools to use to change the direction of a negative thought. But again, the simplest, fastest, easy one is cancel, and switch it, or to put that good, happy thought in and use that as a replacement.
So true. So if you want to look and see how Pat Longo can work with you, look her up at Pat Longo, LONGO.net. That's her website. And read about all the amazing ways that she can help you with changing, with healing you, changing, healing your issues with you, because I believe it's a collaboration when you're with a client of healing.
100%.
And they'll work together. Pat works with you to shift that life situation and have you live the life you're divinely meant to live. So please check out her website. Okay, back to you, Pat.
Okay. So I'm looking at reading some of the things here, and I want to say thank you to everybody for all the wonderful things that you have said, that the people that know me and have worked with me. But another thing that I do to help change people's perspective, it's about perspective.
Yes.
And it's something I did. I stopped watching the news many, 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 many years ago. My husband read the paper, but the only time I would pick up the newspaper was if I was going through a difficult time, was having a bad day. And so what I would do is I would pick it up. All I'd have to do was read maybe the first 2 pages, and it was enough to make me grateful that I have the life that I live and that I wasn't going through what somebody else was going through. And I try to explain that perspective all the time, and I use spirit to explain it. I will tell people that you come from a soul group, and
Yes.
you're all hanging out together. You're not a baby soul on the other side. You come here, you're a baby in earth school, but on that side, you're an adult and you're making decisions, and you're talking about who's coming into the life with me this time. And, what's my theme going to be? But what I'll tell
Pre-birth planning.
yes. And what I'll tell somebody is let's say they came in and they're seriously abused in this lifetime. And I'll say, well, your dad told you on the other side, I'm going to sacrifice my life with you this time around so that you can grow and learn. Now, hopefully we do grow and learn. If we don't look at it and say, thank you for showing me what I don't want to be. Thank you for showing me how to be a better parent, a better partner, a better friend, by experiencing those difficult things. If you don't learn that, you have to repeat it. So it's really important to look at the tough things in your life and begin to be grateful for what you could get out of it by that experience. I get the repeats and the repeats and the repeats. And, people say, why do I keep having these relationship issues? I keep bringing negative people into my life. And it doesn't matter if it's the work relationship, the romantic relationship, the friendships, it doesn't make a difference. If you're not getting it, it's just going to keep presenting itself.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. First of all, I always say thank you about these I'll call them ugly situations that pop up in our lives because of the fact that we agreed to it. I know people say, I wouldn't agree to this.
Yeah.
But we
Why?
did. Our soul agreed that this is because of the things we needed to learn and heal
100%.
for our next incarnation.
100%. Listen, I'm on, you and I are on more of the same page than I even recognized or realized, which makes me happy because I love to recommend people out, and I say the world needs more healers. They need more
Yes.
people. We have lots and lots and lots of mediums, and I love all of them, and that's what I do, as far as not myself, but that's what I teach. But I require healers out there. I desire more healers on this planet, because we need it now, and we'll need it going forward. It's really, really important. And I can tell a healer when I meet them, um, oftentimes just by the energy of them coming into my space. But if it's in a random space and somebody reaches out and shakes my hand, I will know immediately. I'll back up a few steps, and I'll come back and say, do you know you have healing energy? And, then I'll send them a little something to help them begin and get started on it. And they can always round back to me, because a lot of people don't trust, they don't accept that they have these gifts.
Yes.
Listen, everybody who's ever listening, there is not one soul on this planet that did not come out in here with the gift of intuition. How strong it is depends on how many lifetimes you've lived. Seriously, you get all your learning on that side. When you come here, you're just enhancing it. But most of it comes from the lifetimes you've lived. And maybe you've lived 50, maybe you've lived 500, maybe you've lived 5,000. But it's kind of like, the difference between a kindergarten teacher and a PhD as far as levels, until you continue to enhance that and evolve your soul. So healers, come, please come. We need
We
healers.
need more healers. We need to be able to raise consciousness. I mean, and that's what they do when they help people, and through their own practices, their own self-practice, is they help to raise consciousness of everybody around them, and those not around them.
Well, what you and I are light workers. And what we both teach and try to help people do is to open up to that light and begin to use the light and raise your vibration so that it's much higher in the light. And we become, we're actually raising an army. That's what we're doing. We're raising an army, a spiritual army, and we'll say light against dark. I prefer that, or positive against negative, but that's what we do. And I put a prayer out since well before the elections, going back, and I actually imagine the planet being blanketed in white light, exposing the darkness so that it can be extinguished by the light.
I love that. And the light always wins.
It always does. It may not seem like it to people. And, they always say it's darkest before the dawn, or, the calm before the storm, and all those things. But the light is an amazing thing. And the analogy that I give is, if you walk into a pitch black cave and you can't see your hand in front of your face, and somebody strikes a little sulfur match, the whole place illuminates. And that's what the light can do to the dark. And if we begin, all of us have the potential of being light workers and just raising the vibration, being kinder. You asked me for tools, sending pink light and love to the people who rub us the wrong way. Because if you send anger, frustration, irritation, aggravation, jealousy, blame, hatred, if you send that out, it's coming right back to you. Because remember, thoughts become things. So you're putting
the boomerang effect.
You're pulling it back. Exactly. So if you send the pink light and love, you don't have to feel it. Just think it. Again, thoughts become things. So you think it, you send that out to that person. And what happens is either the situation begin to be resolved, maybe that person goes somewhere else and gets a different job, whatever the case may be, the situation begins to clear itself. And the reason that it clears itself is because we let it go. We hold it to us. The second we let it go by doing something positive, it no longer affects us. So there's a lot of things we can do to really make our lives better, heal the life. I didn't know I was going to teach any of this stuff. I mean, I thought I was going to be a touch people, hands-on healer, and that's how it started. And I realized people weren't getting better unless I addressed the emotional situations that were going on in their lives. So once I started to address it with them, I said, well, I have to counsel people then. I have to teach people. And then do the healing on the people. It's the words are so powerful and important to get people to understand. And then I said, well, you know what? If I could teach people one-on-one, I might as well teach groups of people. And if I could teach them how to do this, then they don't have to come to me sick.
Right.
So, and then that just kind of kept
They
going.
can heal their life.
That's right. They do heal their life. And it's many, 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 many years since I started doing that. And
So we have a question. Do you have any online courses going on right now?
well, you know, I've been in kind of a slow-mo since COVID hit, because I wasn't able to get a lot of the things done that I wanted to get, do the workshops and things. I have private classes. I don't offer them to the public because I pick and choose the people that are in there. They have to be of a certain vibration where don't allow ego in my class. I won't allow it. And I want everybody to be compatible. And that doesn't mean they have to be compatible with their gifts. They just need to be compatible in energy. And I feel it. So when I feel it, I know it. And then I offer it out.
So how do people reach out to you to have an evaluation, I guess, for no better way of putting it,
Well,
to see
that
if
would
there's a
be,
fit?
yeah, that would be a regular healing session. And they just email me at patlongo1111 at Gmail. And an appointment gets set up, and you can have a healing session. I do a healing no matter what. A healing is always done at the end of the session, but there are teaching sessions. Somebody comes to me if they're ill, that's a different story. I'm teaching them a different way, more like what we've been talking about, how to manifest and change and forgive and so on and so forth. But
Yes.
when it's a teaching session, it's all about how to open up to their gifts. So it's
I
one
love
or the
that.
other, or
Uh,
they come and they do a past life regression. And a lot of people ask me, do I do them online? I won't do them online. I haven't yet. A few people kind of almost got me there, but I take it a very strong responsibility when I put
Yes.
somebody under hypnosis. And I've seen people go in very dark places under hypnosis, and I don't know how I'd feel about being on a computer when normally I would put my hand on them and just settle their energy down. Um, could I do it? Probably not quite sure. I might have to practice it on a friend first before I embark on that, you know.
But that's the best way to do it, right? You practice and see, where it goes and goes from there. But I love past life regression because
Mhm.
it shows you in past lives what you're bringing forward in this life. And if you heal it in this life, you don't have to
That's
worry
the
about
end
it.
of it. That's
Yeah.
right.
It's
And
like,
I've
boom,
seen
done.
I've seen some physical healings in a past, doing
Oh,
the past life regressions, what's really physical, that shocked me. And so now I know anything's possible. The emotional healing I was very well aware of, but the physical one was a little bit different. So that was cool. And
but
also, some people open up immediately to their spiritual gifts when they tap into that space. So I use everything that I do uh, for for healing. Everything I did from the minute I started was geared towards healing. That's all my interest is. And um,
how
so
beautiful is that?
I wouldn't do it any other way. I do it all over the same way. And I know somebody said Brian Weiss is also very good at those regressions. Yes, I've been in one of them many years ago, but that was before I did past life regressions, and there was about 100 people in the room. And now that I've done them, and I see that I can have somebody buried alive in Egypt, or I can have somebody being burned at the stake, or I can have somebody in the basement of a castle with rats crawling all over them in
Yes.
hysteria, or being killed in a war at 18 years old and rising above and seeing all the bodies and the blood. I know I would not be able to look at that many people at one time and see what rabbit hole they're going down under. So to me, I take it very, very, very seriously. It's not that Brian doesn't. I love him. Me personally,
And
not
everybody has
comfortable.
to do where they're comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to be at your best for the client, for yourself.
Mhm.
And so the comfort piece really is important.
I'm going to answer Sarah's question. Yes, Sarah, I do regressions. I wasn't obviously doing them during COVID, but I have been doing them, all this last year. So.
And let's answer Emily, because she said, will you be hosting or attending other retreats in the future? Are you aware of anything upcoming?
No, I'm doing an event this March 5th, but I'm actually not running it. Somebody else is in the Marriott. I'm on Long Island and in Cold Spring Harbor, but they are doing this event called the Spiritual Social Club. And I am supplying 4 of my mediums that I've trained to
Nice.
read the people, but I'm going to do a little teaching and opening up, and then I'm going to do a healing at the end. I'm pretty sure it's sold out. I'm not
Where
running
is
it,
this
as I said.
at?
It's at the Marriott Hotel in Melville on Long Island, and I know it sold out quickly, and then she opened it up for another 10 people. They're trying to watch COVID guidelines and things like that.
Mm.
I can't have a psychic fair quite yet because the hotel that I use, I get 400 people at a fair. So the lines are like triple, going all the way up and through and down the hallway. And they're not ready to allow that many people to come in and stand in line together. So I understand. I keep checking every couple of months because I was supposed to do a fair March 15th when COVID hit, and I had to cancel it. So it's been a couple of years, and people are desperate to
They
sit down
are.
with people. Yeah.
Well, people have started their paths, and I'll tell you from my experience, it's put a big crimp in their journey, in the sense of they want to continue education with a specific teacher, somebody there, who has done so well for them, like you. And COVID, yes, it put a hardship on it because it sort of stopped, and people are hungry. So here's one more question I have for you. What would you suggest people do to keep their momentum during this time until things settle down?
That's a good question. See,
Thank you.
I never dropped mine. Okay. I kept moving throughout. I mean, the second the doors opened, I was out. I was out at restaurants. You wore your mask, you went in. I was everywhere. I held COVID off for 2 years. I just got it in January. And it didn't play nice. It really did not play nice with me. I ended up in the hospital twice
Oh,
with dehydration. It was more, I couldn't even get my water to my lips. I was so dehydrated. So that was my experience with it. I mean, I rebound very quickly and was right back. But people have to recognize that what we started in the beginning, thoughts become things, and what the media created
yes.
and the fear that was put out there. You have to recognize that this is going to get better. Start thinking that it's on its way out. It's out. I feel personally, me spiritually, I feel that by the time we hit the beginning of the summer, this is all going to be completed. Thoughts become things.
Yes.
Put the positive thoughts out. Put your positive thoughts out about what you desire. You desire to, again, be back to a better life than you did before. Why? Because you won't take things for granted so much because they were held back from you for so long. So to appreciate and have gratitude for everything that comes your way. My children are all going on vacations and things, and one's leaving tomorrow, one's leaving next week. Life has begun again if you choose to take it. If you
Yes.
choose to be fearful and sit in your home and wait for the next shoe to drop, that's what's going to happen for you. It's really important to watch your thoughts, watch what you put forward. Listen,
Absolutely.
I don't ever stop. And I would say the universe put me down for a couple of weeks because I never stop. I
You're
go to
like the
bed,
Energizer
you know,
Bunny.
yeah. And I said that, and Marla, I know you're gifted in this way. And I would write to everybody that my Energizer rabbit went on vacation and took my Superwoman cape with it. So that's what I said during the course of my, people would say, well, what's going on? Well, this is what happened. And, but I'm back to full swing. I'm out every night this week. I don't stop. I babysat last night for 4 of my grandchildren, little ones.
Aw.
So that was homework and showers and reading books and eating dinner. And tonight I teach a class, and so I'll be doing that late. And then tomorrow night I have a birthday party for a grandson. The night before, I have a wake this afternoon. It just doesn't stop in my life. I don't let anything stop me.
I'm the same way. I've been the same way throughout this. My husband and we travel a lot. We actually had our first vacation in 8 years, and life is for living, and you have a choice. It's the free will. You can choose
Yep.
to stay in your house and stay with fear, or you can choose to say, I don't believe in this, and I'm not bringing it to me.
I'm looking at your aura. You have such a green aura. Your hands are bright. Every time you bring your hands up into the screen, they are bright green. And of course, to me, that's a healer. So I love it.
Yes. I do want to step aside 1 second because it's charity shout out time. Speaking of gratitude, our way of showing gratitude at Guided Spirit Conversations is by highlighting a charity. And I know that you had spoken briefly about the Shriners Club or the Shriners Organization.
The organization, the hospital, yes. And,
yes, they do such great work.
100%. That one, St. Jude's, the animal rescues, I'm about so many different charities, and I have a list of them that I'm going to really start focusing on. So, but Shriners is something that I've been watching a lot lately and seeing all the commercials and making donations. So,
and what they're doing is amazing. And if you want to check out Shriners to donate to them, go to https donate.love-to-the-rescue. I love that. love-to-the-rescue.org/give. So please give to the Shriners, give to St. Jude. If you don't resonate with these charities, just give to a charity, give back, because there's nothing better than showing your gratitude of what you might have, as little or as much of it, by giving back.
100%. Love it. Absolutely love it. Somebody's asking me if I'm teaching classes online, and as I said earlier, I have to meet people first. I have to train them to bring them up to snuff to where everybody else is in class. And the one thing, yes, it is only in person, Sarah, the past life regressions right now, until I practice. If I practice and I like it, I'll do it. But COVID opened up so many countries to me. I was working with different countries, but I'm in 45 now over these years, and COVID's brought that into my classroom, because now I'm not just teaching in a hotel with the 3 tri-state area. Now I'm teaching all over the world, and I'm so happy about that. And I don't know that I'll ever change that, because it just, the possibilities are endless, and people just keep meeting more and more and more amazing people, and fresh blood. It's more people to teach. It's more areas to reach. And listen, we're not the only games in town. They're going on all over this planet. People trying to raise vibrations, teach, raise light workers, heal. Mediums are healers too. They heal with their words. It's just a different method, it's different modality, but it's all healing. And
it is.
We talked earlier about forgiveness of self and others, and that is a big piece of today. Is really learning how not to put your energy into the past. And I'm also going to add to that the future does not exist unless we're all lucky enough to wake up in the morning. Exactly. So therefore, worrying about a future that isn't here yet and worrying about a past that's over is completely counterproductive to your energy.
It's in the moment. It's what being mindful is to be here and now, so that you can focus on what's going on, because you can't take that next step if you don't know where your footing is now.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And a question just came up that was really, really pretty cool. Is there a regional network of other healers or teachers you've worked with, Pat? Yes, I try to accumulate them. But she says a spiritual LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
if you will, for those that may not be local to the Northeast. All right, it's a good idea. I keep a list, and Marla's going on that list. I keep a list of teachers. I keep a list of healers. Listen, I'm only one human being. Marla's only one human being. We're only going to be able to reach so many people in a lifetime. That's why these podcasts are so important, and the let's say the books, the radio shows, because they give us a little bit bigger of a megaphone. But for the most part, one on one on one on one on one, how many people are you going to reach?
Right.
So I have a mediumship list, an animal communicator list. As many as I can accumulate that I know are real, I put them on a list. And when somebody asks, I send them out. And they're in different countries, not countries. I have a few in different countries, a lot of mediums in different countries, but I have some healers, and they're growing more now because I've put it out there that I desire more healers. And my list is growing. So email me, patlongo1111@gmail.com.
Pat, you make it so easy for me. You just like put it out there. So thank you.
You
for
are
that.
welcome. Listen, I could talk forever, Marla, just so you know. So an hour is like this.
I know, it's just like I'm not even going to say it, a spat in the wind. That's what I'll put it as. And this has been great. Please check out Pat Longo at patlongo.net. See how she can work with you. Email her at patlongo@1111@gmail.com with any questions you might have about her, having a session with her to get into her classes. She is very lovingly straightforward and will give you honest information, which is so important.
Yeah, I said the word of the year is integrity. All right.
Yes.
And,
oh my God, yes.
I've been teaching people, and I'll throw this out. I know we have very little time, but I've been teaching people that if you ask for integrity in everything that you do, even a plumber comes, you want to get a plumber, put it out to the universe. Thank you for a plumber with integrity, good work ethic, and fair pricing. You can do that with everything. I'm always putting it out for my grandchildren. I thank the universe for putting the right people in their path to keep them safe. Thank you for the teachers who are going to give them the best education and experience. But again, you want people of integrity. If it's a partner in life you're looking for, you want someone with integrity. Integrity, if you think about the word, look up the word, it's a very powerful word. So if you put that in front of the people in the jobs that you go for, the doctors that you see, the partners that you choose, the real estate broker, everything that you get involved with, ask for integrity first.
Yes.
Just put it out there. It's
a
positive.
And I'm sorry we have to end the show, but let's end it with integrity. Let's be our best integrous self in everything we do. Pat, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you're here again with me, and I'd love to have you again.
I would love to be back, and I'm grateful
you.
that you threw me a bone here and got me out there. And every little bit helps.
Your words are so rich with such information that is helpful and supportive to people, no matter where they are in their life. So thank you for that.
I am grateful to have been given the gifts and abilities that I have, and I'm grateful to be able to connect with somebody like you. And again, keep spreading your word and my word and God's word and everything we can.
Absolutely. And I need to thank Bridget. Oh my God, what I wouldn't do. I don't know what I'd do without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes,
she's my right arm and left arm.
She bailed me out today, big time.
Oh,
right.
She's amazing. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out of your day, out of your life to be a part of this show. And even if you're listening to it after the podcast has been loaded onto your listening platform, I do this for you. I bring amazing people like Pat on the show so that you can learn more about things modalities, techniques, and people that can help you shift your life experience to be the life you want to live. And please subscribe to this podcast on your favorite listening platform. And as always, I leave you by sending you love, blessings, and gratitude. So grateful that you're in my life in whatever way you're in it. As Pat mentioned earlier, not only are you, am I a teacher, I'm a student, and you are my teacher. So thank you.
Always, always, always a student, as long as, even on the other side. And I just want to say amen to everything you just said.
Thank you. And if you haven't heard these words today, I'm going to say them to you now. I love you. You are loved. You are never alone. So know that you always have love around you. And if you need something, ask out loud, because our angels, our guides, they don't have free will. But by you requesting your help, what you need help with, they will conspire to bring to you what you need. Also, one last bit of weather forecast for those who are in that belt of bad weather coming down. Please, please, please put supplies in your car in case you get stuck. Blankets, a can with a candle and matches, water, food. If you're traveling with your pet, please bring a blanket for your pet, water and food for that individual, that being as well. Because keep yourself safe, hydrated, and healthy. And until
Amen again.
Thank you. And until next week, stay well. Take care
Bye
now.
all. Thank
Bye.
you.